Okay, taking a look inside the MT4 platform here. Going to do some customizations, and I've been writing scripts for about 2 years now to get in and out of the market with, I suppose, the least amount of effort, but then it turned out that in doing so, creating order scripts going to force me to come up with a trade plan at the same time. But lately, all my order scripts, well, for the most part, my order scripts are entering on a limit. So I'm either getting on a sell limit or a buy limit. And just to go through the basics here, when you're in the MT4 platform, if you go up to tools here, go to options, just this has nothing to do with script writing. Some of this I'm going to go over is just kind of like stuff maybe to get the platform to be a little more, make a little more sense. I know when you load this thing, the default setting is to have under charts, inside of options under charts, they have it set at some insane amount of data. But I'm just going to put this down to a smaller amount, and then the charts are set up at an insane amount. I just put the 3000 just to kind of cut down the overhead of your system. And these things here are just a matter of preference. I like to show the period separators, which are these vertical lines here, so I can see the beginning and the end of the day, so I have some perspective of time when I switch time frames without having to wonder how much time's gone by. And then to show the trade levels, I typically have that on. Now these are the default settings, so when you load a chart, this is what comes up. And then to show the ask line, I like to see the ask line because I like to see the spread. And then another thing here, and then the other thing here would be if you're going to run an expert advisor, you have to go here, and when you load a brand new platform, or the default settings are that these boxes are checked. So you want to uncheck these boxes. It has to end up looking like this in the end, basically. So, when you get in there, it's not going to look like this on the default setting. But you have to enable all this stuff here. All these boxes empties, all these ones are checked. And you really don't want to run scripts on a real account if you're testing them out, because you might have a situation you didn't count on, or you wrote the script wrong, and you don't want to blow up the account or lose money because you made a mistake there. So you set that there. The rest of the stuff I don't mess with. And then inside of if you go inside of the navigator section, here you would see your accounts and your indicators, expert advisors. But this is really not an expert advisor. These are really scripts. So these are one-time only events here. But let me just open up okay, the format I chose here was this script, for instance, will buy 10 to 40 pips deep with a 60 pip stop, and it's going to buy $8,000, and it's going to last for 30 minutes. So if I take a look inside this, go to modify, and this is a 5-digit broker script, and wait for this thing to load up. Okay. Now we're going to take a look at this actual detail. This is a okay. This is kind of a trading pretty close to the market here on this script. Now this is going to buy 8K, and here's the time, 30 minutes, and this 60, I think it's seconds or something, but I don't change that. I only change this number here. Now when you go to edit this, as soon as you decide you want to change this to an hourly, it's going to pop up with all the available times that you can put in there. This would be 1 month, 1 week, 5 minutes, but most brokers aren't going to let you load a 5-minute script. 15 is about as tight as you can go, because I guess they don't want you scalping or whatever. But anyways, I set this to M30 and 30 minutes. Now, the way this order script reads is actually the platform's actually going to launch each one of these, but it's going to start at the top. It's going to send order ticket. OP means open position, and the order style is going to be a buy limit. It's going to buy $1,000. Of course, this is presupposing you're on a micro account, and I think the micro accounts make more money than a mini or a standard, because I can put 8K in here spread across a 40 pip range, whereas well, on a mini account you have to buy a 10K. It's some specific price, and this way I can have I basically have a whole trade plan built into this one script that lasts for a half an hour, and then it just expires, and my exposures spread across a bunch of, basically a pip grid. And so for instance, this situation here, the script reads to buy 10 to 40. So your first in an MT4, the platform is going to read this script like send this order, buy limit. It's going to, the moment you drop this script on the chart, you drag and drop this script on the chart, it's going to start placing orders at all these asks. You're going to buy the ask and you're going to sell the bid. And actually this should say bid over here. Let me just edit this thing. What's the thinking there? Just gonna change these all to bid. Okay, so it's gonna place. This is almost 10 pips. Now this is a 5-digit broker, so that's 998. But since you're on a 5-digit broker, it's gonna look like 9.8 pips deep. So I kind of stretch that a little bit. And then the next one's going to be 14 pips deep, and it's going to keep going until it gets to 61.9 pips deep on a 5-digit broker. And the next thing that MT4 is going to look for is the stop. So this stop here is actually 75 pips, and then it's kind of a progressive stop instead of a hard stop. I guess you call it a soft stop. So I have 75 pips on this ticket, and then it progressively goes all the way to 120 pips on this last ticket. So it's as if I placed a, I don't actually know what the risk is on this ticket, but all these tickets added up would be the difference between these two, your entry and your stop out. If you did the math on that, you'd know how much you're risking. Now the last thing in the script, the third thing that comes up is your take profit. So this situation here would be buying approximately 10 pips below current price and getting out about 22 pips above current price. So that's kind of a trend trade. You're going to buy, say the market's in a trend, it's going up, and you want to get in, but you don't want to pay at the market because you think it's going to pull back. So it pulls back like, say, 12 pips. So you get filled on this first ticket. And then as the trend continues, it goes up another 20 pips, cash out of this one. And the next thing in the line here is in these quotations here, whatever you write in here will show up in the platform. So say I put in here, 30 minutes, and I just put violent in there. I think you're allowed to put about maybe 20 characters in here before you can't, you reach a limit of about 20 characters maybe. And then here, this number, I have no idea what it means. I don't touch it. The expiration, and I just leave that alone. Now, if you did want to put an arrow on the screen, any one of these tickets can have a different colored arrow connected to it. So, if you put a comma in here, and then you put the color in that you want, and I just put blue in there, because I can spell that, blue. Now this will actually show up as an arrow, and I typically bracket the whole script so I can tell if it's running or not. So if I put an arrow at the top, the first ticket, and put an arrow at the last ticket, and then I can tell if it launched okay. And there's a limit to how many tickets you can put in a broker. Every broker's got their own limitations. So if you don't see this last arrow come up when you launch the script, then you've either choked it or there's a bad script or something, but it lets you know visually that something's gone terribly wrong. In this one, I'm just going to put in I'll just put in there by limit, but I'll just use a small case so you can see it come up on the platform, and then you'll know. Now once you edit this thing, of course I'm gonna trade the euro with the script, because the one thing you have to watch out for here is the fact that if you buy 10 pips deep and you're trying to scalp it, see these tickets down here, this is going to buy 61 pips deep, but it's going to get out at 48 pips deep. So you're kind of just taking like 12 pips. You can tighten these up depending on your broker. Now what I'd like to do is actually have I'd like to do a progressive ticket typically. So this last ticket is going to be, say 5. So I put like 5 by 5K here, and by say 4K here, and by 3, because that's kind of how I would trade. I would just buy more the lower it went. So of course you realize this only lasts for half an hour of the script, so you're only committed to this trade plan for half an hour, which is kind of nice, because say you put this in and then you go get drunk, you come back and see what happened, and that if you're not there to get to your system, that at least it's taking everything off the table. And if it only got filled a partial fill, of course this order is probably not going to fill tonight, because this is kind of a news script. I mean, the market's got to spike down pretty damn hard and come into the it's got to go down 60 pips in a half an hour after you drop it. And it could do that on a news day. But, and this is a 120 pip stop here. So you probably would, you'd risking this to scalp that. Now, it doesn't sound like a good risk to reward ratio, but it's really based on the fact that if the market can plummet that quickly, that's the thing. Okay, then you want to go up here and compile the whole mess. Okay, looks like I'm going to run out of time here, but let me just launch the script and see what it looks like here on the screen. Remember which one I edited. Okay, this one here. And there it goes.